Hello and welcome to our off-campus living session. We'll just wait a few minutes so folks can join us. Hi, folks. Just going to give it one more minute until everybody has found their way to this session. Patrick, can you see the slides and is my audio okay?
Yeah, everything looks good.
Perfect, thank you. All right, welcome everybody to the off-campus living part of living in Guelph. Welcome, Griffins. I would like to start by just saying that there is no Q&A function or chat available in this meeting. However, there will be information at the end for who you can reach out to if you have any other questions and info shared along the way about certain emails, things like that, contact info. So yes, there is a space for you to ask questions. It just won't be in the time of this call. And that being said, we'll get started. So, hello and welcome. My name is June Baldwin. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the coordinator of neighborhood relations and off campus living here at the University of Guelph in our student experience department. Okay, so our content that we'll be going over today is off campus living. What is it? What does that mean? It's kind of a blurb we throw around all the time. So we'll go into a little bit more about what that means and how we can support you. Finding housing, living with roommates, living standards, getting to campus, the Guelph community, eating off campus, and our campus community. Okay, so off-campus living, the office, is part of our student experience department at the University of Guelph. Off-campus living is comprised of myself, the coordinator of neighborhood relations and off-campus living, as well as two peer teams. And peer teams are students who attend the university and also have these peer helper roles. So there's two different teams that I supervise, the rental living resource team and the commuter engagement team. The Rental Living Resource Team provides advising and consultations for students about living off campus. We do lease and application reviews, tenant advising. We help students search for housing. Our Commuter Resource Team, they are here to support students in getting engaged with the University of Guelph community. So we run a lot of fun weekly events and create a lot of social opportunities for those who live off campus and commute to Guelph. Okay, so finding housing. You can receive support from our off-campus living office with finding housing in Guelph. So we support by sharing resources to help your search. We can review listings, applications, leases, that type of thing. We have a full video actually up on the University of Guelph Student Experience YouTube page that covers how to search and secure housing in Guelph. I really recommend that as a good place to start as it covers a lot of general questions and more. We won't be getting into specifics of finding housing today because that resource exists. However, I am still here to support and advise students who are looking still. Okay, getting into living with roommates and some things to think about with that. So, you may have already found roommates or you may have already secured your off-campus housing, which is fantastic, or you might still be in the search. So these are some important things to consider, both if you've already got your roommates set up for the year or if you are still searching to find a great place to call home. So first is getting along. So what are some things that you have in common? Is this person easy to get along with? Do you enjoy the same types of things and activities? Can you trust them with things like your privacy and with your personal items? Conflict. So what boundaries do you have? Discussing your boundaries together at the beginning is really important. Talk about how you will work together to resolve your conflicts if they come up, and when they come up, because things come up all the time, and try to come up with strategies now to avoid any future issues. Lifestyle. Will we have similar schedules like with sleep or work or school and classes? Do we have the same lifestyle choices? Does some of us party more than the others? Have these conversations at the start so that you know what you're getting into and how you can set good routines and agreements. And finally, safety. So, do I feel safe with this person or these people? Am I okay with pets if there's pets living in the home? And if I also have pets, will they get along? Do we also agree on how to navigate things like illness or with COVID-19 safety? So, things to think about. Okay, so a roommate agreement. Consider co creating a roommate agreement with everyone who's living in your household. You can search for templates for this online or reach out to us at Off Campus Living for support with this. Um, some things that you might want to consider putting in an agreement right at the start of the year to get off on the right foot would be things like noise, partying, guests, household chores, household items. So things like who's buying the toilet paper, the dish soap, the hand soap, all of those common use items. Privacy of bedrooms, shared use of the common areas of the home, like the kitchen or living areas, and things like storage space. So, are you dividing up the shelves in the fridge or is it a free for all? Stuff like that is really important to think about right away because something really small like that could be a really big deal to somebody that you're living with. Okay, and now we'll get into some living standards. So here are some things to look for when you have found your housing or if you're still looking for housing. So these are just some really important safety measures you want to make sure exist so that you can be safe in your unit. And these are also things that are legal for units to have. So you want to make sure that you're living somewhere that is of good quality and has all of the proper precautions in place. So do you have working smoke alarms on every level and outside of your sleeping area? Do you have working carbon monoxide alarms installed? Do you have safe ways to get out of your unit in case of a fire? If you or your housemates are sleeping in a basement unit, is there a big enough window or door leading directly outside so that you can escape? If your building has more than 4 bedrooms and shares one kitchen, is it certified with the city? And if your building has 2 separate kitchens, is it registered with the city? So these are some important things to think about, and there are definitely resources available to help you, including our office. Tenant inspections. So this is a program that the city actually offers, and they will come to see your unit and make sure that it meets minimum safety standards. You can also call the city in advance of moving in, just to see if the unit is registered or certified if it needs to be. You'll also be able to be told if there's any outstanding complaints or permit issues with the unit. So it's a free service. I really recommend that everybody uses it. They really want students to be involved with this program because they want to make sure that students have a safe space to live in. All right, now we are going to shift to getting to campus. So we're living off campus. We need to attend our classes in person, most likely. So what does that look like? I know that in our original session today, Jenny touched on the universal bus pass. So the City of Guelph bus pass is provided for every student, graduate and undergraduate that's attending in-person classes, and it's part of your student fees. So that's something that students previously have actually voted on and agreed on, that they want a bus pass as part of their student tuition, which is really great because it means that your student card is also your bus pass. You can tap and go on all bus routes in the city of Guelph, and you can use their on-demand services, which we'll get to, which are pretty cool. The majority of students who live off campus are using the bus, and when you're looking for housing, try to find a unit that is within one bus of campus, which most of the places in the city are. So hopefully you'll be able to step out of your front door, go a short distance to a nearby bus stop, and that bus will take you directly to the campus without having to transfer. Okay, so you can use Google Maps for bus routes. So I'll just show you a quick video of how you go about doing that. You can put in your destination, click on the public transportation item, and then it will show you which routes are available and optional to you. Okay, so this next one is actually how to use the on-demand bus service that I mentioned. So this is a service that is new to the city of Guelph, and it's really neat because you can essentially book a ride between any bus stops in the city. So there might have been, for example, somewhere you want to go and you would have had to previously transfer buses to get there, and it gets a little bit complicated when you have to do that. This on-demand service actually exists now, so you can pre-plan in advance. You can choose the location you want to leave from and go to, and this service will actually provide an on-demand bus. They're specific buses, and they will come and pick you up and take you to your destination. So this is what it looks like when you're trying to schedule a ride for that. So I put in the pickup location as the university, and I chose No Frills, which is a local grocery store, as my destination. And then you click find rides at whichever time you're looking for. You can book days in advance as well. The specifics about how many folks are riding. So if you're going with your roommates, you can put in the number of people. And then it will show you the options. So it's a really cool service. And you can definitely find more information about that online, or you can reach out to me directly and I can help you with that process if you have any questions or anything like that. Okay, so other transportation options. Lots of students will also walk or bike to campus. And then we also have our commuters. So many students will drive to campus, and that might be from other places within the city of Guelph, or it could be from nearby cities as well. Student parking passes are available, and I believe they're starting around $77 a month, depending on the pass that you choose. So there is also public transportation options. We already covered the Guelph transit buses. However, there is also Go buses and Go trains available. And this is a really popular option for students who are commuting from other cities. And there's a lot of different routes. So you can use the Go Transit website to plan your trip to campus. So here's just a quick screen recording of what that looks like. You put in your first destination and then where you're going, what time, what day, and then it will show you your options. Okay, so there are two main ways to use Go Transit to get to Guelph. There are the Go bus routes. This is just a highlight of the ones that are headed straight to the Guelph campus. So they leave these destinations and have various stops along the way, of course, and they will end up at the University of Guelph campus. So you're right at the UC, the University Center, when you arrive to school, and then you can walk to your classes from there. The GO train has actually recently extended its routes to Guelph. So that goes between Kitchener and Toronto. So there is an option to take a GO train from Kitchener to Guelph. And then there's also options to take the GO train from Toronto and the stops that I've mentioned here. And those will go to Guelph as well. Make sure that you're aware of what time, of course, it's running, because depending on where you are coming from, it may not be in time, for example, for an 8:30 a.m. class. So make sure that you're planning ahead. And then the other thing to consider is that the GO train will drop you off in downtown Guelph, and you will need to take a City of Guelph bus from that location to get to campus. They go to the same location, so it's pretty accessible, but something to think about when you're planning on getting here for a specific time. Okay, so your Guelph community, living off campus means that you are living in a community. This community houses professionals, families, seniors, and more. And it's important to consider that you are representing the University of Guelph as a student who lives off campus. So definitely something you want to be aware of, because whether or not you're announcing to neighbors that you're a student, they likely know just based on the house being rented to students previously, that type of thing. And they know how to contact the university if there's any issues that come up. So for this reason, we have what's called the Community Standards Protocol. I've included just a brief highlight of part of the protocol there, but you can find it on our website. The university and the Guelph community definitely want students to have an impactful and great experience during their time here. And it's important to be a good neighbor. Your neighbors live in Guelph year round, and they can be a really amazing resource for you. They have a lot of knowledge about the community, and I really do recommend that every student introduces themselves to those who live around them. Share your contact information if you're willing to with them. So if they would like to reach out to you for whatever reason, they're able to. Having a good relationship with your neighbor really benefits everybody involved. Our off-campus living website also has information about Guelph bylaws, and I really recommend reading through that info so that you're aware of what's going on, what's expected, what the bylaws are. For example, in Guelph, we have a 24-hour noise bylaw. So things like that are really important to consider as you're moving into your new space or potentially a new city, a new province, new country. You are accountable to the university through this community standards protocol. So if there are significant or reoccurring offenses happening off campus, there is a process for response by both the university and local law enforcement. The university is also here to support you if you're having problems off campus. Definitely reach out to us and our off-campus living office, because we can support you in a wide variety of ways. Okay, eating off campus, a fun category. Jenny chatted briefly about the university meal plan, and there is a plan that's called the Ultra Meal Plan that I do recommend for folks living off campus who will be on campus a lot of the time buying food there, because as she mentioned, you do get a discount. So it's definitely worth it if you're going to be spending money anyways. The way the Ultra Plan works is that you put a deposit. The minimum, I believe, is $300, and you can add money on from there. And that way you can use those funds to buy things on campus. They also do work for certain locations off campus as well. So some local restaurants, things like that. I've also just put in a few little Google images of the grocery stores we have available in town. There's kind of a wide variety of what's available. Definitely do some research yourself. If you're looking for specific foods, there probably is a place for you to find them, and using something like the on-demand bus route to get you there is definitely recommended. I'm also happy to chat grocery stores, personal passion project of mine. So if you want to reach out to off-campus living about grocery stores, happy to connect. Okay, and building community at the University of Guelph. So a lot of students might be going into their first year living in Guelph. Maybe they've been remote, maybe they're first year students. And we definitely want to make sure that you have every opportunity possible to build your own UofG community here. Connecting with your university community is super important, and definitely there are a lot of ways to do it. We want to make sure that folks find groups, clubs, events, things like that that they're interested in right away so that you can start developing those relationships with your peers. Okay, so everybody should be in the Griffin's Nest Teams page for 2022. If you are not, you can contact start@uoguelph.ca. This is a Teams channel that is virtual, and in August, everybody will be added into the off-campus Teams channel. So if you're not living in residence, you will be added to the off-campus Teams channel, and this will allow you to access community facilitators who will be answering any questions you have, providing you with helpful information, and also will bring you to all of the off-campus student events during orientation week. So a really great resource to stay connected, check in on, ask questions, things like that. You'll also gain exclusive access to specific Griffin's Nest off-campus events throughout September and the school year. Any questions about Griffin's Nest, you can send to start@uoguelph.ca. Here are some other ways that you can stay connected to your university community. So the Start on Campus virtual events, such as the one we're at today, they're happening every Tuesday up until orientation week. So definitely check them out. Lots of really valuable info in those. They also all get recorded, so you can find them on our YouTube channel afterwards if you aren't able to make it to the live event. Then there will be orientation week events, which are always super fun. We're planning for a lot of really amazing events for off-campus students, especially this year. Our off-campus living weekly events that my team hosts, those are things like we'll do games nights. We might have snacks. We'll do things like smoothies. Like we can really be as flexible as we want with those events. So really happy to hear from any students that have any ideas, or if they're missing something or there's something they really want to do, definitely reach out and we can hopefully make it happen. The Off-Campus University Students, or OCUS, they are a student-run club, and they run also really incredible events throughout the school year. OCUS also has a lounge in the university center that is open, and they have certain hours and things like that, and you can drop in and hang out, go to their events. They have games, they've got stuff available. It's a really great place to hang out. They know a lot of information as they are students as well, so really great folks to connect with. Griff Life, which is a website where we list all of the student events that are happening. I'll show you a little bit about that shortly. Griffin's Nest, which I chatted about. The I Am a Griffin app, which I recommend everyone downloads. I'll show a little bit about that as well. And finally, student clubs and organizations. So there is something out there for everyone. I really recommend you get connected as soon as you get here in September. Okay, so here is a recording of what the I Am a Griffin app looks like. You can search for a whole bunch of different things. They have a campus map to help you kind of find your way around campus. So if you're wondering where certain buildings are, things like that, it's right there in your app. They also have the list of clubs and groups, and as you can see, it's quite extensive. So you can have a scroll through there. I really recommend you check it out. And then you can join certain channels for different clubs. It also links to the website in various ways. So here's information about the Start Online. There is also a student feed. So if you have questions or you wanted to put something in the chat on the I Am a Griffin app, you're welcome to do so to connect with your classmates that way. Okay, and here's one for Griff Life. This just shows all the upcoming events. You can search different organizations to see what they're hosting. You can click on the event. Some of them will have you register in various ways. There might be a form you need to fill out, or it might just have the information and you can drop in. It will also let you know if it's virtual or if it's in person, or if there's free food, if the event has any sort of fee involved, that type of information. Okay, and with that concludes our off-campus living session. So as I mentioned, if you have any questions at all about anything you heard or anything you didn't hear and were hoping to hear, please reach out to us at ocl@uofguelph.ca, and we will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Welcome, Griffins. We're excited to have you. Thanks. Thanks, Patrick.
That was great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.